Good day and welcome back to my channel. Today's cute little project is this keychain with a puff stitch heart attached to it. So this one I made in 2 different colors. And you can use it as a handbag charm. It's very easy to make up, and you need to make 2 hearts before you stitch them together. So please grab your hook and your needle and your crochet wool, and let's make this. You will start by making a magic ring and secure this magic ring with a chain stitch. You're going to chain 1. Now you're going to make the puff stitch. So it's yarn over, go into the ring and pull up a loop. You'll see you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go into your loop, into your ring, pull up a loop. You now have 5 loops on your crochet hook. Again, yarn over, go into your magic circle, pull up a loop. You will have a total of 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 7. You might have to wiggle your needle a little bit. Right. So that's puff stitch number 1. You're going to chain 2 and you're going to repeat that puff stitch. Yarn over, go into your loop, pull up a loop. Yarn over, into your loop, pull up a loop. Yarn over, go into your loop, pull up a loop. Yarn over. And squiggle through all your loops. Chain 2. You're going to repeat a puff stitch and a chain 2 until you have a total of 8 puff stitches in your magic circle. You will slip stitch into the chain 2 space. But first slip stitch onto the top of your puff stitch and slip stitch again into your chain 2 space. So don't forget, you actually need to make 2 of these. You're going to chain 1. You're going to make 5 puff stitches into this chain 2 space with the chain 1 in between. So let's make our first puff stitch and chain 1. You're going to repeat that until you have 5 puff stitches in your very first chain 2 space. I know it gets a bit tight in there, but all 5 will definitely fit in here. And you might just have to wiggle your needle a bit. When you are done making your 5 puff stitches, chain 1. In the next space, make a puff stitch. And chain 1. Again, in the next space, make 1 puff stitch. And chain 1. In the next chain space, you're going to make 5 puff stitches. These 5 puff stitches will have a chain 1 space in between. So let's make a few. So it's a puff stitch and a chain 1. Again a puff stitch and a chain 1. Again, remember you want to have 5 in total. Just grab some more yarn. So that's 3, and I'm just moving the stitches over a bit. That's 4, and here is the 5th one. Chain 1 into your next stitch space, chain space, 1 puff stitch. Chain 1 into the next puff stitch, into the next chain space, into the next chain space, a puff stitch. Two, 4, 6, 7. Chain 1. Just gonna pull my magic ring tight. Into the next space, you're going to put 5 puff stitches with the chain space in between. So this is the first one, and make a chain 1. Puff stitch and make a chain 1. Repeat until you have 5 puff stitches in the space. You will be left with 1 chain space, and in that chain space, so you'll make your chain 1, and in that chain space you're going to slip stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch into the base of your very first puff stitch. So now you would have made your 2 hearts. You're gonna put both, I'm not even working in the tails because I'm going to put both of the backs together, the wrong sides, and I'm going to take out the last slip stitch I made. Now you are more than welcome to cut your yarn and to use another yarn color or to sew this with the needle. I want to use my crochet hook to actually do this part. So I'm going to go into the very first chain that I made, and I'm going to find the same stitch on the side, which is right here. Right there, and I'm going to go into that stitch, and I'm going to join it just there and pull through both loops. Do the same thing, and I'm only picking up the 1 loop to join this. So however you decide you want to join your hearts, that is completely your choice. This is just a different way for a change. So I'm just grabbing 1 loop here, 1 loop there, and I'm pulling through. You might have to wiggle your needle a bit. So you decide how you want to join it, and I will meet you at the end. So this is how my joining is looking. So this is how my edging is looking now that I'm joining both pieces together. And I like to say that it's your prerogative how you want to join your work. But there is a short on my channel with this joining that I'm doing on a and I've used it on a granny square, so you can actually check it up if you want to see more of it. But I'm just basically grabbing the first loop that's closest to me of the heart at the back and the back loop of the next heart. So I'm grabbing one front loop, one back loop, yarn over, and I'm pulling through all of the loops, like similar to a slip stitch. Very, very similar to a slip stitch. I would actually say it is a slip stitch. So just continue to work in that manner, or however you decide to join it, just continue. When you get to about here, it'll be a great time to stuff your heart, if you want to. Sometimes your puff stitches might feel thick enough. If you have a look at this one, I never stuffed it, and I felt that it was chunky enough. But depending on the wool you're using and your needle size, you can decide. So this one, I'm stuffing it a bit, just a little bit, just to make it a bit puffy, something. Once you've completely joined both hearts, please make a few chain stitches. 7 to 10 is more than enough. So this is 7, and when I bring it down, so let's try 10. Now I'm going to cut my yarn, pull that out, and I'm going to go ahead and thread this needle. And I want to join this, push this needle in directly into the center. And make a few stitches just to get it in properly. Oops, I need to put this at the back so that way you don't see it. So I'm going to just go into it, but from the underneath. Right. I'm going to go flush against this work, pull the tail and cut it so that it slides back in. So this is the heart I've made. 2 different colors. And it's actually for a child's bag to clip on to the zip of a school bag. So I'm just going to put on this keyring. And here you have it. I thought the color looks nice. So let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that. But most importantly, please enjoy crocheting. This is the Queen Phoenix, out.